Hi, Lana. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad we were able to get together today. I have some really important questions for you in regards to first-time home buyers.
All right, let's
Um,
hop into it.
well, a lot of first-time home buyers are wondering, where do I start? What do I do? Where do I go? So
The
I thought
num-
maybe you could get some advice.
yeah, absolutely. The number one thing when you're thinking of buying your first home or any home for that matter, you want to get pre-approved first. I know we get really excited and we want
Yes.
to start looking at homes, right? They call you, Lana. They're like, "Hey, I
Oh
seen this
yeah.
house on Zillow. Let's go look at some homes." But the first thing
Yes.
we need to do, we have to get pre-approved.
Yes.
That's where the
Okay.
lender will take a look at your credit. We will take a look at your debt that's on your credit report, and then we'll dive into your financials. So we're going to look at your income. We're going to look at your assets. We're going to see what can you truly qualify for at the end of the day. That is
Okay.
probably the most important step because in order for you to even make an offer on a house, you're going to need a pre-approval letter.
Correct.
And depending on what type of market we're in, especially right now, it's very competitive. Homes are flying off the market. You have to be prepared, right? Because if you show them a house,
Definitely.
by the time they call us, try to get pre-approved, get us their paperwork, that house will sell. So
Hmm.
this will set the buyer up for nothing but success going forward. So they know their numbers, they know what they can qualify for, they'll know their payment, closing costs, down payment, all that good stuff. So that way, when they can shop with you, it's stress free.
And so when they start this process, are they going to need to provide anything to you right away, or is it just an application first? What is it that they can expect, or do they need to get some paperwork prepared ahead of time?
So the cool thing with working with us at Loan Depot is that we have a lot of technology built into our application. So when we
Okay.
do the application online, we actually have the ability to possibly verify the borrower's income digitally,
Hmm.
as well as their assets. Now, if we can do this online and do it digitally, we may not need bank statements, we may not need pay stubs, we may not even need tax returns.
Oh,
So
okay.
a lot of times up front, we'll have the client do the application online. If they want to do it in person, we can figure out a way to do it, or we
You
can
can
do it over the
accommodate that.
phone.
Right.
But a lot of times we will start with it online just for that convenience factor because more often than not, every other lender is going to ask you for 1 month of pay stubs, 2 years of tax returns and W 2 forms, and 2 months of bank statements at a bare minimum.
Okay.
So if we can do the pre approval and we don't need to ask for any of that, we can get the pre approval done quicker and get them out shopping faster as well.
Okay. That's good information. Also, a lot of clients think, oh, when they start this process, I'll just pay off all my credit cards, things like that. Is that a myth? Is that actually really raise your credit score, can that really hurt you?
Paying down your credit cards can definitely bring your score up. Paying them off will essentially do the same thing, but the rule of thumb in credit is you want to keep your balances under about 30% of whatever your credit limit is.
That's
So if the credit limit is $1,000, you want to keep your balances under $300. And the
that's
thing that we look for as a lender is we're not overly concerned of what the overall balance is. What we're
hmm
looking for is what the minimum payment is on that credit card.
Oh, okay. That's great information.
So a lot
Okay.
of times people will think that we care about the balance and then I'm going to pay off this credit card
Right.
when that minimum payment could be something like $100, right?
Mm,
And they might have a $5,000 balance. And then now they took whatever savings they had, paid the credit card off, and now they have
right.
no down payment.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So basically, they should work with you, obviously, if they're planning to do something like that. So then
Yeah,
that way you get on the
definitely
best
talk to
price.
your lender first before starting to pay stuff off because if we can find a way to get you approved with your credit as is, then
Right.
obviously you can start shopping faster and you don't have to worry about, potentially liquidating some of your cash and spending that to pay off credit cards, which may or may not even affect you.
Affect you. Okay.
Um, I just had a person that I talked to the other day. They actually they paid off their credit cards. They went to another lender, and the lender told them to stop using their credit cards. So they
Okay.
zero balanced it, and then for 6 months they haven't used their credit whatsoever, and their score actually went down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when with the whole credit thing, you want to try to keep everything as status quo as possible, right?
Right.
So if you had the balance and you were able to pay it down, try to keep it down. Still use
Right.
your cards. It's totally fine to use the cards. There's no obviously there is a detriment to not using it, but
Right.
you don't want to go crazy, right? And start charging your credit cards up. So keep the
Yeah.
balances low, still use them as need be, but the main thing is just keep the balances down because unfortunately for this person, that lender gave them bad advice,
Right.
and now they're literally 1 point away from qualifying for a loan. So
Oh,
they're
wow.
unfortunately going to have to wait.
Wait. Yeah. That's too bad. Also, are there any zero down payment programs out there? A few people have been asking me that as well. Are there
One
any
of the
left?
most
And
common programs that we use is called Home is Possible. It is the
right.
easiest to qualify for. It's the most lenient in terms of just the entire program itself. You just have to have a 640 credit score and make less than $98,500 in a year.
Hmm.
And you can essentially live anywhere in Nevada, and you can get up to 5% or $20,000 for the down payment.
Towards down payment.
Yeah. So essentially, we could cover the entire down. We have done deals where we've covered the entire down for the client, and the
Right.
agent was able to cover all their
Closing
closing
costs.
costs from the
Costs.
seller. Yeah. So obviously,
Yeah.
working
That's
with a great
fantastic.
agent like yourself that's been in town for a while, that knows the industry and knows how to negotiate, that's such a huge piece to the whole buying process. That you can get into a house for maybe a few $1,000, if that.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Uh, how important is communication between all of us, between the lender, the agent, and the buyer when you're in escrow or in the process of purchasing a home?
Super important. That behind the pre-approval is probably one of the most important things. Um, Only because, just like you mentioned, right? If there's a credit situation, and if they don't communicate that to myself or to the agent,
Right.
and even if they did communicate that to the agent and they don't relay that to the lender, we're missing that communication. So there's advice, there's updates that need to be said and had throughout the entire process. So essentially, you are building a team in a way,
Correct.
throughout the whole buying process, and that process could take 30 days, it could take 6 months. So you really want to work with people that are on top of their game, right? They answer their
Yep.
phones, they're available, they respond in a timely manner, and they can give you that guidance and that advice that you're going to need throughout the entire process.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you 100%. I mean, that's why I work with you and Alex. You guys are great at that, and it makes my job a lot easier. So I do appreciate that, and thank you so much. And thank you for answering some of the great questions, or that I had for a lot of my first-time home buyers. I really
Yeah,
appreciate your time, Sean, and
absolutely. And Lana, we worked together for a number of years. So,
we have.
anyone that's thinking of, working with you, I mean, I know for myself, I can speak, very highly of you. And I would recommend you to anybody because I know you always do a
Well,
great
thank
job for your clients. You go to bat for them. Every deal that we've ever done, over the years, every client loves working with you. And, I just feel like it's always one of the smoother transactions for us. So,
and
you definitely do a great job on your end as well.
I thank you for that, and thank you for being a part of my team and helping me with my success.
For sure, for sure.
All right, thanks, Sean.
You got it, Lana. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.